Hey Galactic Geeks, it's Devin. So, welcome back to another Galactic Geek video. No Kingsman review. I thought it was good. Apparently not everyone does. That's all we really need to get into for that. Moving on. Blade Runner 2049 comes out. Let's see, today's Tuesday, so Thursday. I'll be seeing it then. It looks really good. The reviews are really good. So hopefully it is. But I figured I'd take this time to talk about the director, Dennis Villeneuve, or however you pronounce it. It's probably something really French. It's probably like Denis Villeneuve or something. I'm going to be sticking to his mainly mainstream movies, so Prisoners, Sicario, Arrival, Enemy. I haven't seen Enemy, so I'm not going to talk about that. From what I've heard, it's good. I believe it, Jake Gyllenhaal and all, but I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to talk about it. So mainly we're going to focus on Sicario, Prisoners, and Arrival. So we'll just get right into it. We'll talk about their flaws, their good sides, and how that'll probably affect Blade Runner. Alright, so we'll start with Prisoners. Prisoners is really good for what it is. It's basically like a kidnapped story, and it's got Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal in it. I really liked Prisoners. I saw it a couple times in theaters when it was out. I think I own it somewhere, but I'm not for sure. Oh, sorry, I thought I saw someone else had. Yeah, so it's pretty good. The acting is great. The visuals are pretty good for a standard, kidnapping story. Nothing. They don't have to make up any wild, crazy visuals. They don't have to, CGI that much. It's mostly just streets. But the way he shoots them is amazing. And so I would say a lot of the positives of this are writing, acting, shots that he used, and I don't remember if he was the writer or not on the film, but the point is the visuals were great. That's up to him. The acting was great, which is kind of determined by him. He persuades performances, I'm sure. And if Jake Gyllenhaal worked with him on Prisoners and on Enemy, then he's obviously not that hard to work with, and he probably knows how to get a good performance out of people. Overall, it's a great movie. I think I enjoy it. A nice little nod at the end that you don't really know what's going to happen, but you kind of do. You never really know for sure. Next, I'll talk about Sicario. So, Sicario was good, but it was also kind of dry at moments. Now, I don't often fall asleep during movies, but I did fall asleep the first time I saw this movie. But I was kind of tired, and I did see it for free, so there wasn't any, money stakes in it for me. It's not bad. The action is really good, the performances are really good. It's just, sometimes there are little sections between scenes that got a little dry. And I only fell asleep once for 4 or 5 minutes. So it's not like I slept through the whole movie or anything, But Emily Blunt does a really good job. Benicio del Toro is awesome. Pretty sure it was Josh Brolin that was in that as well. Does a good job. But the action is spectacular. Same thing with the shots. The writing overall, I don't remember being fantastic, but I could just be misremembering. That was 3 years ago, roughly 2015, so 2 years ago. But either way, I enjoyed that movie as well. I feel like the visuals and the writing and the performances from Prisoners, plus the performances and the action for this, really set up well for Blade Runner 2049. Even if it's even if there's no action in the movie, which we know there is because of the trailer, there's at least 1 or 2 action sequences. But even if there was no action in this movie, and it was, because I love the original Blade Runner, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. But there is a while between action sequences and that, and if you were going to pick something at that, it would probably be that there's few and far between action sequences, but the ones there are good. And I feel like even if this movie follows the same thing and it's really good, but the action is kind of spread out and whatnot, I still feel like it'll be a great movie because of the performances and the visuals that he has in his previous films' experiences. And the action from Sicario proves to me that he can do action as well, and that we'll be fine in those action sequences. And they'll probably be one of the better parts of the movie, I would imagine, and they'll draw you in and want to make you stay for the less actiony parts. Now, Arrival is by far my favorite of these three films. Probably not of Blade Runner, of Sicario, Prisoners, and Arrival. Probably one of my favorite movies in the sci-fi genre in general. I got so into this movie when we saw it. I saw it with a group of like 6 or 7 people. Brad, as you guys know, Jarrett, you guys know him from the Martian Review, Jarrett's brother, and then a couple other people. And Jarrett's brother and I actually got into a screaming match in the theater parking lot because we both had theories about what was going on in the movie, and we both thought that we were right, and dumb cat. Alright. Anyway, we both thought that we were right, and so, like, that movie made us passionate and made us want to explore all the options that there were. So, if anything, I'll give it that. The writing is genius, the visuals for what they have are genius, performances are great. Not much action in that movie, but that's okay because the plot and everything keeps you going. And there's moments of tension, obviously. You can't have a whole movie without any tension. There's tension. It's just not, like, no one ever, like, really is, like, fisticuffing, or there's not really that much, like, shooting that goes on. There's some explosions, and there's some, like, high-stakes moments, but there's no, like, straight-up action sequences, I would say. But that's okay, because I feel like that works in his favor, just in general for the movie, but also for making Blade Runner 2049, because like I said, we don't know how many action sequences are going to be in Blade Runner 2049. We know the one with, I think it's Dave Bautista. We know the one where he, like, wraps his arm around the dude and shoots the dude in front of the shack. And then we know, like, at one point he's kind of bloodied and has a gun in his hand. And maybe the Harrison Ford, explosion scene. These are all from trailers, so I don't think there's any spoilers here. All of these are in, like, the first 2 trailers. I've purposely avoided as much of the material as I can because I want to go into this completely fresh. I don't want to know the plot, I don't want to know anything, I just want to go in and have a good time. And I get a vague term of the plot from the trailer, but not at all the way, you know what I'm saying? Alright, so, basically, back to Arrival, sorry. Like I said, it does a really good job of building tension in scenes where, there's no action sequences or anything like that to set up the tension. It just has natural tension, which I feel is going to work very well for Blade Runner because he'll make you invested in those moments where there is no action going on, but there's maybe the threat of action, but then there ends up not being action. Those stakes are still high enough for you to care, and it's a wonderful feeling. I loved Arrival. I own that movie as well. Overall, I would say Dennis Villeneuve is probably one of my favorite directors right now. I mean, it's hard to say. I'll do another episode on my favorite directors soon, if not later today. But for right now, all I need you guys to know is I think Blade Runner 2049 is going to be fine. It's in good hands. That's what the whole point of this video has been about, is to show you that he can do the things he needs to do to make this a good movie. He's got, just his mainstream movies like I've been talking about, he's got plenty of those down the hatch that have been successful and critically acclaimed. I feel as though we're in good hands. Let's go into this happy. Let's enjoy it. And I'll see you guys in, a couple days for Blade Runner review. Maybe later today for favorite director video. I was also thinking of another best of video to do. I might do that one. So we'll see. I might do all 3. I've got a little time before I got to go to work, so we'll see. All right, I'll see you guys later. Woo!